President Lai thinks drones and uncrewed surface vessels are the way forward for Taiwan's military. Can the country's drone sector keep up?
规划筹购滨海尖针型、滨海攻击型无人机以及小型自杀无人艇。
A new report shows Australia has overtaken China as the biggest lender in the Pacific region. One of Taiwan's most controversial pro-unification parties could be dissolved over national security concerns. Plus, can tarot readings help you connect with your pet? Some owners in South Korea think so. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Laurel Stewart. Taiwan has been stepping up efforts to develop drones for national defence. Recent examples have shown how uncrewed systems can help counter larger, more conventional military threats. But as Alan Liu reports, legislators have not yet decided how much extra funding to put aside for drones.
Uncrewed surface vessels, or USVs, simulates the explosion of a target boat during a demonstration in southern Taiwan. Taiwanese drone maker Thunder Tiger showcased a swarm operation using two of its Sea Shark USVs, powered by Shield AI's HiveMind autonomous software. Swarm tactics use AI to enable multiple surface drones to operate as a unit. The vessels can conduct distributed reconnaissance or launch saturation attacks against larger enemy warships, creating an asymmetric advantage.
当然，我们台湾四面环海啊，这个要来那个关照的区域非常的广大啊，所以这种蜂群的一个战略哦，以及这个 AI 自主这个无人，好，就像我们今天看到的这样子，是多平台可以。
By combining and integrating software onto these hardware platforms, we are seeing a great return of investment because it offers better options for the decision makers whenever there are decisions to be made.
A group of Taiwanese lawmakers recently visited the Navy's newly established Littoral Combatant Command, which is designed to strengthen Taiwan's coastal defense capabilities. The new command also places an emphasis on integrating drones for surveillance and target acquisition. While both the government and private sector are investing heavily in drone technology, debate continues over how much Taiwan should spend on these systems. This has prompted President Lai Ching-te's call to greenlight a special budget of up to $6.5 billion to procure drones and USVs through the end of 2031.
规划筹购滨海尖针型、滨海攻击型无人机以及小型自杀无人艇。我要再次呼吁，立法院朝野各党团以国家安全为优先，支持行政院所提版本。
A California-based drone company says one of its USVs recently sailed inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and captured close-up footage of a Chinese guided missile destroyer. The incident highlights how a small drone boat costing a few $100,000 can get close to and potentially threaten a warship worth billions. Fu Huahong and Anna Lu for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Defense Ministry is reporting a surge in Chinese military activity around the country. The ministry says it tracked 22 aircraft around Taiwan on Thursday morning. 16 of the aircraft flew closer to Taiwan's main island. The incursions come just days before Taiwan conducts its largest annual military drill, the 10-day Hanguang exercise. A pro-China Unification Party could be facing extinction as Taiwan's government makes historic moves to dissolve it over national security concerns. Rees reports.
A political party is facing an existential crisis here in Taiwan as the Interior Ministry prepares to file a petition with the Constitutional Court to dissolve the pro-Beijing Chinese Unification Promotion Party, or CUPP. The filing, which also includes evidence from foreign sources, says the party has long been involved in organised crime, and its connections to China endanger national security, social stability, and the integrity of elections in Taiwan. It also cites key members being implicated in violations of 7 laws, including the National Security and Anti-Infiltration Acts. Officials say the party serves as a cover for gang operations, pointing to over 100 members investigated or arrested for organised crime or taking Chinese funds to influence elections and build covert networks in Taiwan.
我们认为已经危害中华民国的存在，而且它长期的统促党长期是系统性的组织性的犯罪，危害到自由民主的宪政秩序，而且也危害到我们社会稳定跟选举的公正性。
The ministry first moved to dissolve the party in 2025, but the case was stalled after legal changes left the Constitutional Court without enough justices to hear cases. Although a subsequent ruling allowed the court to resume operations, the decision itself remains controversial, and any ruling could face political scrutiny. After over a year of collecting evidence, the case will finally be submitted. TaiwanPlus was unable to contact the CUPP for comment, though they have previously framed attempts to dissolve them as political persecution. If the courts accept the case and choose to dissolve, the CUPP would become the first ever political party disbanded in this way. It could set a landmark precedent for the legal boundaries of Taiwan's democratic defense, as the government seeks to address concerns over foreign influence and interference. Alex Chen and Rees in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Australia has become the top lender in the Pacific, replacing China in the post-pandemic era. That's according to new findings by the Lowy Institute. Australia also remains the top provider of aid to the region, having spent about $1.5 billion throughout the Pacific in 2024. That accounted for 37% of all aid in the area. While China's loans to Pacific nations are tapering off, its programs in the region are shifting towards smaller grants for sectors like health and education. To find out more about Beijing's diplomatic priorities in the region, Leslie Liao spoke with Graham Smith from Australian National University.
It's recently come out that Australia has replaced China as the top lender to Pacific nations amid declining loans from Beijing. Now, what do you make of this?
I mean, Australia has always been way ahead of China in lending in the Pacific. What's notable is since about 2016, China's aid to the region kind of peaked and has gradually been going down ever since, whereas Australia's outlays have, largely either stayed the same or gone up a little bit.
Does this shift signal any change in Beijing's diplomatic strategy for the Pacific, or is it indicative of declining influence in the region?
It's indicative of Beijing not having as much foreign reserves to throw around as it used to have to throw around. And that's why it dates back to 2016. So they faced basically a sell-off of the RMB between 2015 and 2016, which meant they went from having a surplus of around about 7 trillion to a much more modest surplus in sort of foreign exchange terms or in foreign reserve terms. What you can extrapolate is that now when China gives a loan, it's much more thought out than it was in the past. So if a country is receiving loans, you can be sure that this is a much clearer signal than in the past when it was much more scattergun. So they are in many ways a better indicator of where a country is in terms of China's priorities. Whereas if you look back to, say, 2009, when the money was just flying out the door, every Pacific nation was getting showered in these concessional loans, and that led to quite a substantial amount of debt, which is another reason why they've pulled back, because the narrative of debt trap diplomacy has been very effective, and they don't really want to be seen to be giving these big concessional loans anymore.
The Pacific is home to a good chunk of Taiwan's 12 remaining diplomatic allies. Now, amid this trend where Beijing is lending less to Pacific nations, are there any implications for Taiwan diplomatically in the region?
I mean, it does, on the surface of it, offer an opportunity for Taiwan. But if you look at the Lowy data, which is where you've got your information from, you'll find that Taiwan has slipped out of the top 10 donors in the region. It used to be well up there in the top 10 because it had more allies. What's happened is, as Taiwan has lost allies, the funding has just been withdrawn. It hasn't been reallocated to the existing allies or reallocated to the region as a whole, which might have been a arguably a better holding strategy for Taiwan in the region to, okay, you're losing your bilateral partners, but maybe give the money regionally to maintain some sort of influence. And generally speaking, that hasn't been done.
That was Graham Smith from Australian National University. Taiwan will no longer process visa applications for Moroccan citizens who want to travel to the country after Morocco did the same for Taiwanese.
摩洛哥政府骤然采取停发措施，已经对国人赴当地商旅造成障碍，并影响两国交流。基于双边交流的对等原则，外交部宣布从7月30日起，除经专案核准外，暂停受理摩洛哥籍人士来台的签证申请。
Last week, Taiwanese citizens applying for Moroccan visas found that their applications had been suspended without notice. Taiwan's foreign ministry confirmed that the Moroccan government told its embassies to stop processing Taiwanese applications and has since instructed its offices to do the same. The ministry is urging the Moroccan government to resume exchanges as normal. Coming up after the break, Taiwan's sports tech innovation takes center stage at a Taipei AI exhibition.
For more stories from here in Taidong, Taiwan, and around the world, visit TaiwanPlus.com.
How does Taiwan stay on the forefront of innovation in a world of uncertain tariffs, wars, and shifting geopolitics? Get answers and more. From award-winning programs to exclusive Mandarin dramas. Download the TaiwanPlus app to any device today. No ads, no bias, just facts. TaiwanPlus.
There's so many things that I wish the world could see.
It is amazing to watch this captain maneuver this giant ship.
It takes 3 days to cook this. The flavor is unbelievable, incredible.
And it's my turn to make something inspired by Chef Gore. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Can you imagine that?
It's surreal, yes, so real. I can't give up. I got some ass kicking to do.
Nice move.
We're pushing each other to explore and experiment in new, different ways.
5, 4, 3, 2.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
Not just to Taiwan, the whole world is watching.
很多时候是我们眼睛看不到的地方。
We might encounter mishaps and mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day,
it just transmits something straight from the heart. Yes.
Cheers.
Bon appetit. It is about the fun, and it's about the glamour, and it's also about something much deeper than that.
Sometimes you just gotta seize the opportunity. You just gotta do it.
To have a place where you're appreciated for you exactly as you are, and where you can shine and be seen.
Welcome back, you're watching TaiwanPlus News. Europe's wildfires continue to rage, and not just in Spain and France anymore. As the fight to battle the flames drags on, there's been an outpouring of community spirit in some places as volunteers pitch in to help. Jean Van Trieste reports.
A firefighting plane zooms towards its target, a patch of burning forest in Spain's smoldering countryside. Special planes like these can lift up to 6,000 liters of water into the air, ready to drench the flames below. But the battle against this year's massive wildfire outbreak has been a long one, and even the well-trained military pilots flying these missions are feeling pushed to their limits.
Es que no dejo de sorprenderme.
I just can't stop being shocked. The fire has indeed been on a colossal scale. We've been flying for kilometers from the loading point to the drop zones, taking in the desolate landscape. And the truth is, it's a real shame, because we're fighting to defend the greatest treasure we have, our countryside and our natural environment. And it's very emotionally draining.
Civilians on the ground face the nightmarish aftermath of these fires up close, sometimes returning to homes they can no longer recognize. For some people, like the residents of the town of Artana in Spain's east, the pain is compounded by the knowledge that they'd done everything right and still weren't spared.
Artana fue de los pocos municipios.
Artana was one of the few municipalities that cleared the outskirts of the town during the winter. The entire perimeter area was cleaned because there was a large amount of leaf litter and undergrowth. The municipality did a great deal to clear it up and improve the town in that respect. But as you can see, the mountains are burning before our eyes.
Spanish officials said Wednesday that conditions overnight had helped firefighters get some control. But still, parts of the countryside burned fiercely, and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says the coming hours will be critical. In neighboring France, firefighters exhausted by days of battling intense blazes take a moment to rest and gather their strength ahead of the next attack. Conditions have been tough, but firefighters haven't been alone, as a spirit of community spreads in affected areas. Everyone helps how they can. Volunteers form backup brigades to put out flames.
So when we saw this on the news, we couldn't just sit back and do nothing, so we said we'd go. I contacted my mate, he was up for it, off we went. So yeah, we got a hold of a milk tank from a farmer friend who kindly agreed to lend it to us. We loaded up and then came straight down. We took the highway, got here, and were sent straight to the site. And since yesterday, we've been here filling the wildfire tankers, doing everything we can.
Other volunteers tend to the evacuees staying in shelters, even giving their pets veterinary care.
I just couldn't sit in a flat doing nothing while all this was happening, knowing I might have some useful skills, or if nothing else, simply be able to lend a hand. Turns out there's plenty to do here. When you see all these people with animals who haven't necessarily had time to take everything they need, there's a lot of advice to give and plenty of practical help we can offer, thanks to the extraordinary volume of donations we have received.
But tragedy continues to spread, including elsewhere in Europe. 3 Greek firefighters died Wednesday as fire surged across the island of Crete, fanned by strong winds. And just adjacent to Europe in southwest Turkey, similar conditions are feeding large blazes in wooded areas. Experts say Europe has always had wildfires, but that these latest ones are not at all normal.
The effect of climate change in what is happening today in Europe is very strong. It's impossible to deny it or to hide it. It's not the only thing that is happening. So this is not just about climate change. It's an emergency across scales and stakeholders. But climate change and this intense, continuous number of heat waves that we are suffering is making the forest and the vegetation a level of dryness that is very unusual.
But normal or not, it is happening, testing Europe with a grueling fight to keep the flames under some kind of control. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has officially recognized a Pingpu Plains Indigenous group for the first time. Premier Zhou made the big announcement at a Taipei ceremony to Siraya people in attendance.
我已经在行政院的院会正式的代表行政院宣布，西拉雅族是台湾正式的原住民族。恭
喜恭喜西拉雅族终于回家了。
Siraya is the largest plains group in southern Taiwan and has historically assimilated into Han Chinese and Japanese communities. The group has been working to revive its language and fought for legal recognition for the past 2 decades. After the top court ruled its exclusion from Taiwanese laws unconstitutional in 2022, a separate law now allows each Pingpu Plains group to determine who qualifies as a member of its group. The cabinet has now approved Siraya's identity rules.
喜拉雅文化协会呢，它其实
这之前有召开民族的大会所以在大会上形成高度的共识一致通过哈。那我们知道原住民族群的这个法定上的法律有400多条100-200部的法律，那我们现在只有获得3部法律。这个法把它修得齐全，让它能够完整的一个权利上的一个回复。
The Council of Indigenous Peoples says the Siraya people will be able to register for legal status starting in mid-August. Taiwan's stock market fell below 40,000 points after a brief rebound in early trading on Thursday. Taiwan's benchmark index, the TAIEX, closed down 0.26%. The stock market has been dropping throughout this week as investors became cautious over expanding capital expenditure of global AI giants and increased competition from China. The country's Financial Stabilization Fund says it only intervenes in extreme circumstances, but it's monitoring domestic and international markets in case action is needed. Taiwanese chip giant UMC has unveiled a major expansion plan, raising its capital spending to $2 billion to meet growing AI demand. The company says the expansion includes the construction of a new wafer fab in southern Taiwan and additional cleanroom capacity at its Singapore fab to support silicon photonics production. UMC reported second quarter revenue of around $2.2 billion, up 17% year on year. It says it expects strong ICT, electronics and AI demand. A number of artificial intelligence firms from across the country are gathering in Taipei for the Wave AI exhibition, an event to show off the latest tech. And Taiwan is showcasing itself as a leader in sports technology innovation. Our reporter Lily Lamartina was there.
We're here at the Wave AI exhibition in Taipei, where companies from across Taiwan's AI sector are coming together. And one of the key themes this year is how AI is helping athletes train smarter. The Taiwan Institute of Sports Science is using AI to transform training. Its platform analyzes footage and turns it into data both coaches and athletes can use.
那传统上当然就是必须要用教练，然后他直接用2个人看影片，然后口述嘛的方式去跟所谓的选手去做沟通。但是这个技术来讲，他们是完全是透过深度学习的方式去侦测到球，还有球棒，以及我们去画出它的一些轨迹，相对的一些轨迹。
The technology is also being tested in shooting sports, delivering more accurate results to athletes than what traditional metrics could give.
平常我们在看射击的时候，可能单纯只有看到成绩的一个部分。那我们透过这个模拟器，我们就可以去看到更多射击上面一些技术上面的一些细节。那这些数据提供给运动员，让他们在做一些技术上面的一些调整，可以有一些数据上面的依据。
And it's innovations like these that are catching the eyes of government officials. Taiwan's National Development Council pledged to support its startup ecosystem.
我们希望说，在今天你可以看到很多非常具备活力的新创公司那也再次讲一下就是说所有的AI 新创产业，你如果在创立资料、人才、行销和资金上有任何需要帮助的地方，随时跟我们说话分享。
Through combining cash, regulation, and talent, the government is hoping to help these worthy startups move from ideas to the global market. And officials hope that developments like these will help position Taiwan as a developer of AI that impacts a wide variety of industries. Justin Wu and Lily Lamartina in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
In a country with one of the lowest birth rates in the world, people in South Korea are turning to pets for companionship. But it's hard to know what these four-legged family members are thinking. So pet owners are turning to a new way to interpret their relationships with their animals. Tarot. Amanda Stevens has more.
It's a common question animal owners ask themselves. Staring into their furry companion's soulful eyes, they might wonder, what exactly is my pet thinking?
Since this little one has trauma, unlike other dogs, I was really curious. I wanted to know what he was thinking. He sleeps next to me every night and follows me around like a bodyguard. And I was genuinely curious whether that's hard for him. I thought he might get tired. So I was really curious about those kinds of things.
To get the answer to such an elusive question, some in South Korea are turning to fortune-telling. Pet Tarot is a new service that's supposed to offer insight into what's going on in their furry little heads. Some owners even say it's a gateway for connecting with them on a deeper level.
When it comes to communicating with tarot, this is what tarot means to me. If I had previously understood only about 5 simple emotions, such as this one is sick, happy or sad, and so on, tarot now seems to speak to me in at least 20 or 30 different kinds of language.
Like Taiwan, South Korea is struggling with a declining birth rate as education and housing costs rise. As people opt not to have children, pets are offering a different kind of companionship. One fortune teller says that tarot reading for her pets goes beyond blind chance. Instead, it's a way for people to interpret their actions.
Through their sense of smell, they take actions such as placing a paw on a certain part, or if they're more active, lifting their nose. So you can think of it as a method in which we read the cards that they've chosen in that way.
Each tarot reading session with Hwang Soo-kyung costs roughly $14 US. And she says that her clients always come back eager to learn more about their pets. She has designed different decks for different species, like turtles and other reptiles. With ownership in South Korea growing, Hwang offers people a chance to better understand their deep relationships with their pets, letting the tarot cards speak for those that can't speak for themselves. Scott Hwang, Leslie Liao, and Amanda Stevens for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Finally, today we're traveling to Bosnia for a traditional diving competition. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care. See you next time.